Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Science fiction, the great teacher, the great inspiration. It helps us see the endless possibilities of life. So let's be inspired together.
Come with me if you want to live.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon, what's beyond our own shores.
We are not sending out interceptors. We have taken them completely by surprise.
Hey everybody, it's the Commodore. How you guys doing out there? Well, yes, it's been a while since I've done one of these episodes here, because it doesn't relate to politics, and politics these days has been really busy. So, I do these whenever I see a movie or something. So to get to the point, I saw Mandalorian and Grogu, and before you watch the rest of the video, there's going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear the spoilers, then shut the fucking video off, okay? And save it for later after you've seen it. So I went last Thursday. I saw it in 3D, which was good. I mean, it was a really I don't get to see too many movies in 3D, so when I saw that one, it was pretty decent in 3D. I always like to see those kind of movies on the big screen, and if it's in 3D, I like to see it in 3D if it's available. So yeah, I went Thursday. I was one of 3 people in the whole theater that watched it. But of course, it started at 7 p.m., which most people don't like to go to the movies that late anyway. But I do because because I don't want to have a whole bunch of people, sitting there yakking and making all kinds of noise. So that's when I like to go, is when it's not too many people in there. So overall, I enjoyed the film. It was fun. Okay. It felt less like a Star Wars movie and more like one of Disney's seasons of The Mandalorian, which this movie is part of. Okay, that's just part of that series of episodes of The Mandalorian. So they did the same style like you would see it on Disney Plus. But you could tell they spent just a bit more money on the movie, okay, because there was a lot more special effects in it than you would normally see in Disney Plus. But I was kind of amazed at the same time that they didn't use, CGI and AI and a lot of things in that movie, which I don't know if they did it because they're trying to save money or if they did it because stylistically, I think fans like to see puppetry sometimes, like they did in the older Star Wars films, and they did bring some of that style from Disney Plus's Mandalorian into the film, and it seemed to blend nicely. Okay, it really did. Visually, it ranked up to and maybe surpassed a little bit in Disney Plus's show that they have, and I guess as far as the story goes, it takes place a little bit after, maybe like a year or two after the end of the Mandalorian season 3, and the movie overall, if you've seen all those Mandalorian episodes, you'll probably get the sense that if there was going to be a season 4 of The Mandalorian, which I don't know if there's going to be or not, but if there was, we'll just say, this movie that that I watched would probably be the season 4, because you could tell by the way the story is where, you know, they was like, it felt like they were almost like chapters. You could feel it, like this is where they would cut off and you'd have to come back next week to see the rest of it, you know. So they kind of just took a whole season of story ideas for the main story in this movie, which is to you know, rescue Jabba the Hutt's son, abandoned son, I guess, you know, and then find the Imperial remnant leader, which isn't General Admiral Thrawn. He's not in it, Grand Admiral Thrawn, which I was kind of surprised, because I figured this movie would introduce him after, you know, he came back, you know, at the end of Ahsoka, in Disney Plus's Ahsoka. At the end, he's on his way back to the Star Wars galaxy there from the other galaxy that he was at. So I figured this movie would, you know, kind of say, oh, now he's here. And then that would be like a kickoff for the next series of Disney Plus TV shows or whatever. But no, that didn't happen. And so anyway, that main story that I kind of laid out is basically like, it would be like a whole season, like 8 episodes of another series of, you know, episodes for Mandalorian season 4. And I think, now this, I don't know if this is true, but I think that's originally where they pulled these ideas together, was it was probably going to be a season 4, but then I think they decided that they wanted to do a movie with it instead. Not really sure why they changed their mind about it, but that's what I think that's what they did. So there could still be a season 4 Mandalorian, because they left it at the end of the movie kind of open for more stories if they want to do more. I certainly would like to see it. I mean, I know a lot of fans kind of about the Mandalorian, but then they're that way about lots of other Star Wars Disney Plus projects they've been doing. But in my opinion, I liked Andor, I liked Ahsoka, I liked Obi-Wan Kenobi, I liked all the in the Mandalorian, I liked all of those that they've been making. I think they're pretty good, because in a series kind of thing like that, okay, they can flesh out the characters a whole lot better than they can in a fucking movie, okay? In a movie, it's plot driven. Star Wars is always plot driven on the big screen, but they don't take the time to really let you get to know the characters very well, except, you know, outside of the main 3 or 4 main characters. You don't get to see, you know, much of that for the rest of the characters. But in these Disney Plus shows, they really take that time, and that's what I like about it, is that you can actually warm up and like these characters more, because, you know, so yeah, I mean, so this movie was fun, you know. It was pretty well paced. I mean, it kind of was slow a little bit in the first, I don't know, 25-30 minutes. After that, it picks up, you know, a lot more action, and it felt, I mean, I can't remember, it was like, was it almost 2 hours, I think, the movie, but so much in this, it goes on in that, but it doesn't feel like it's fast, but there's a lot of story, okay, and lots to laugh at too. You know, I was kind of, the first thing I was really laughing at was to see, you know, a Hutt in an arena and fighting. Okay, I was like, what? You mean these things can fight? You know, and apparently Jabba's son, he ain't fat, he's muscled right up. Okay, if you can believe that. He's still got the same kind of head, you know, like Jabba, but he can speak English and Huttese. But yeah, they somehow he got himself involved with the syndicate, and he has to fight in an arena because I don't know. He just he fights in the arena, And he fucking throws his fat around everywhere. He uses his tail as a weapon, and he's swinging axes and shit. I thought it was funny to see that. It was sort of like I was laughing when they first showed Yoda fighting with a lightsaber against Count Dooku. I laughed at that because that was hilarious. It was like fighting with a frog, you know, it's like, just hopping everywhere and twirling and everything. Right? It's like Jesus. It's like trying to swat a fly. But yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought that was I was laughing. I couldn't believe it. You know, it's like, how the hell do you make something that fat and big, fight like that? But that's Star Wars, okay? So clearly, you know, of course, the Hutt. I can't remember his fucking name now, but the Hutt, the Jabba's son. You know, it was CGI, obviously. Okay, they couldn't puppetry that. But he becomes like a hero. He's not a bad guy. He's not a villain. Okay, he's just somebody that wanted to go his own way. I guess he didn't like his father, Jabba, and his aunt and uncle run the Hutt crime syndicate, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and they don't want him. They don't want Jabba's son coming back because he's the rightful heir to that whole empire of, you know, and so they're interested in seeing him killed. Okay, which is part of the reason why they have him set up in these arenas and fighting. They're hoping somebody will kill him so he wouldn't be able to claim his right for the throne. And also the person that the Mandalorian is after, that he was sent by the rebellion, or okay, to nab, was part of that arena, all that shit. Okay, he was working sort of in collusion with Jabba's brother and sister, I guess, whatever. So you know what I'm saying? It was kind of connected that way, which is how they can do two stories in one by bringing them together, where that Imperial leader they were after is mixed up with the Hutts. So through that the Mandalorian has to well, he doesn't find out right off. He finds out sort of late in his mission who the guy is, and then and then by then he's like you know, captured and everything. So there was a lot of things going on. And then of course Grogu, the little tiny elf that looks like Yoda, he's learning more and more how to use the Force, which I think is kind of what, you know, his character arc is that when he was little, and he was, I mean, well, he's always been little, but when he was younger, during the Clone War era, okay, he was already being trained by the Jedi, you know, Academy or whatever, okay, to use the Force. And when the Purge happened, what they call the Purge is when they killed all the Jedi, he escaped, and somehow he forgot how to use the Force during that fiasco, and so he had to. Luke Skywalker was going to train him, and for a while he did, to try to get him to, you know, pick up how to use the Force again. And it's like he couldn't teach him. It's like if he tried to use it, he couldn't do it. But it seemed to come naturally when he was like in peril or something. All of a sudden now he knows how to do it. You know, it's like instinct or something. So during him being with the Mandalorian, of course, he's going to be put into a lot of situations where their life is in danger. That's making Grogu more Force sensitive and more able to do things using the Force. So he's doing a lot more in this movie, Force-wise, okay? And so the Mandalorian and Grogu have become quite a pair, you know? And even though Grogu still acts like, you know, a child, you know, young kitten kind of thing, you know, where he's always getting into things and stuff, you know, he has those moments where, you know, he uses the Force to levitate stuff or heal wounds. you know, and put, you know, creatures to sleep and stuff, he could still do things. There was a scene in the Mandalorian where, in that movie, where they had this giant dragon snake, which they did a really good job with that. I mean, yeah, it was CGI, okay, but the way they kind of blended it in with, you know, the Mandalorian and all that in that fight, and I mean, it was pretty dramatic. I thought, Jesus, that was a hell of a fucking thing. I mean, it was underneath, you know, like remember in Return of the Jedi where Jabba puts Luke inside the, you know, under the floor, like where the Rancor was down. Well, this hut has something of the same thing, only it's not a Rancor, it's a giant dragon snake, basically. And I mean, it's huge. And the thing is the Mandalorian is down there basically without his weapons and stuff, trying to survive, and he, you know, he finds, you know, a spear lodged underwater and stuff, and he uses that. That's not enough, and he finally manages to get out of that little underwater cage or whatever the hell it was that he's in. You call it a pit or something. He got himself out of the pit. The Hutts tried to kill him by putting him down there when they turned on him. So yeah, so there's a lot going on in the movie, as you can tell, but you can't really take your eyes off the story. You'll get lost as to, you know, why they're doing this now, and, you know, or something. So you have to watch it all the way through, which, you know, sometimes I don't like movies like that because, you know, you're kind of trapped in the theater to watch, because if you get up and go get something to eat or go use the bathroom, you come back and now the whole story is kind of changed a little bit, you know, because of one thing that happened in it. But like I said, there's a lot going on in the story. But like I said, it keeps you riveted, it keeps you pacing and you know, and watching it. And they actually, for the first time, they take you to Nal Hutta, which is where Jabba's home planet is. So you get to see that, which is basically a giant swamp with what looks like giant broccoli that grows out of it, and and the huts have this one big giant setup, you know, and it's got turbo lasers, it's got battle droids that you've seen in the Clone Wars, and you know, they got all kinds of robots and stuff like that protecting them, and so it was a pretty interesting thing to see. Trying to think, what was kind of unremarkable was the setup of, you know, the rebellion where Mandalore's been working. Sigourney Weaver, who plays Colonel Ward, she's got a Mandalorian working for her. She gives him somebody that he has to go find and bring in. Usually they're just people that work for the Empire, but she's sending him out there to find these people like bounty hunters, or, you know, like he's a bounty hunter, and either bring him in or, you know, kill him, whichever, you know. Okay. And at the same time, you know, she's got sort of a little secret going on with you know, in her job, where this rebellion here is relying heavily on the Hutts, basically, and they need their help, you know, for different things. And so doing this thing to get Jabba's son was kind of a favor the rebellion was doing for the Hutts. Okay. They sent him out telling him, "Oh, we want you to rescue him and bring him back to Nal Hutta." No, they wanted they wanted Mandalorian to go get the kid here, bring him back so they can kill him. And and she knew about this. Sigourney, Colonel Ward, she knew about that, but she didn't tell the Mandalorian that, figuring that he was going to have a problem with it. But as it turned out, you know, the Mandalorian put an end to that fucking bullshit at the end of the movie. Basically destroyed the, you know, the Hutt's palace and everything. So there is no Hutt syndicate. I guess that's what they're trying to show at the end of the movie, because there was so much destruction of the whole fucking place that the Hutt syndicate's done. So, but it was really, you know, kind of a, you know, a little side thing in the movie that you might miss if you aren't paying attention, because you know how sometimes actors, you know, if they're trying to give information but at the same time they look pensive or something, like maybe they're hiding, holding back or something. If you didn't see that, because it wasn't blatantly put out there that this was what Mandalorian was really doing, they didn't put it out there, but you got the sense that she wasn't telling him everything. Okay, so when he brought Jabba's son back, okay, she was kind of pissed, like, you know, why did you do that? You're supposed to bring him to the Hutts. And he tells her, well, the Hutts want to kill him. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, she was kind of like that. But, you know, she was like, well, you know, we made an agreement with them, and now they're mad at us. And they've been helping us out to find these Imperial warlords everywhere. So, you know, but, you know, Mandalore saying, well, they're playing you and everything, and you gotta, you know, you're gonna have to pick a side here, because we can't be allied with people like, with, you know, creatures like that, you know, when they're trying to use us to do their bidding. Okay, so yeah, that was kind of, you know, like I said, what was going on. And at the end, of course, Colonel Ward comes in with a bunch of X-Wings, and they help to destroy Nal Hutta's palace, you know, Jabba's, the Hutt's palace and everything, and thus they don't have them helping the rebellion anymore. But I don't think it really mattered too much, I guess, considering that the you know, they got people all over the galaxy looking for these Imperial warlords that are trying to, I mean, because they're fighting with each other. The warlords are, you know, the colonels and generals and stuff that were left over after the Return of the Jedi that survived. They're fighting with each other, and so they're trying to. You know, whoever wins is going to be the one that controls what's left of the Empire, and they don't want that. So they're trying to grab these fuckers up when they can. You know, so. But, yeah, so there's a lot that goes on in that movie, and like I said, it's really fun. It's funny. A lot of things are funny in there. I mean, they show these little critters, you know, ain't like 4 inches tall or something, and they have a spaceship, and the spaceship is like really tiny. You know, and it's really funny because they're like engineers. They're kind of like the beavers of the Star Wars universe, because they're mechanical and everything, and you know, and they're always tinkering with stuff. But yeah, those guys are funny in there, and they had this one interesting character that was like sort of like an old man, but looked like an old lizard sitting in a rocking chair, and he's like cooking fish that he caught out of the swamp on Nal Hutta, and Grogu had to help out the Mandalorian because when he was fighting with that big snake, the dragon snake, he got bit, and the thing had poison in its teeth, and so he was wounded, and he was also, you know, his poison was going to kill him, but he was trying to help him out, but he didn't realize that there was poison. So when the old lizard found out that Grogu was coming around taking his food and stuff, he had learned from one of the battle droids that was looking for him, looking for the Mandalorian, had come and knocked on his door and asked, have you seen him and everything? And he kind of told him what's going on. So the old lizard found out through the battle droid that Mandalorian was poisoned. So he figured that the little Grogu there was helping him out. So he said, well, here's something here that'll help fight the poison. So he gave it to Grogu when he goes over and gives it to the Mandalorian. In 24 hours, he's back on his feet. So, yeah, I mean, that character was kind of interesting. Because, the way they, I mean, it sounded like the voice of Samuel L. Jackson, who, I don't know if that was really his voice. I don't know. You can't tell today with fucking AI and all that stuff, but he has this, really nice, sort of like a wise attitude, So, but I kind of liked him, the old lizard. But yeah, there's so many, the Star Wars, it's always filled with all kinds of aliens and robots and gadgets and ships and stuff, all kinds of crap, just and this movie's no different. It's got everything in there. And so I know it got mixed reviews at the box office, but I think modern audiences today, especially when it comes to Star Wars fans, are looking for something specific, and I don't think this hit the mark for them. That they'd rather do something different than the Mandalorian, because I don't think a lot of them like the Mandalorian, which I don't know why, because it really is Star Wars in a way. It doesn't have much to do with the Skywalkers. I mean, it's just all about the Mandalorian. And we didn't really know much about Mandalore and all, and these, because Boba Fett, was the only Mandalorian we knew, but it really wasn't a Mandalorian. He was just a clone of his father, and his father really wasn't a true Mandalorian. So we only knew from books and comic books about these people, but in the Disney Plus show The Mandalorian, we get to learn a whole lot more about what Mandalore is and their history. So this character is pretty interesting. Pedro Pascal acts as Mandalorian rather. I was surprised that they didn't, bring some of the other Mandalorians into the movie. Would have been interesting, I think, because it seemed to work well with the Disney Plus TV show, where they had the whole clan of them together and everything, and it was pretty fun watching that. But yeah, I mean, I really liked the movie. It was worth the $23 I spent to go watch it, and the 3D feature was really, enhanced the whole experience. And I'm going to say I give it, an A- or a B plus, whatever. That's what I would give it. So it's not like, the Star Wars you would kind of expect, but it is a Star Wars style film. The only problem I had with the movie was the musical scoring. They just dragged in, the same that they used in the TV show on Disney Plus. Because of all the Star Wars films, I'm always expecting the John Williams style music to go with the background, but they can't get John Williams to do every fucking. But can't they find somebody that could do something similar? To back up the show, or something, because it really sounds kind of odd when they're using traditional scoring that you'd hear in any other science fiction movie, but it doesn't make it distinct that it's Star Wars. I kind of missed that when I was watching it, is that the scoring was kind of out of place. It didn't fit with the genre, or the franchise. I think they ought to try to find somebody who can kind of play John Williams style kind of scoring for future movies, because it just, I think the music, John Williams, I mean, come on, the guy, his music is like part of the fucking show. Okay, you know, you hum a theme song and you know exactly what movie it went to. I mean, the guy had a talent for that. So I would think that, you know, they would want to keep that element in any project, Star Wars project, so that way they could, you know, at least enhance the, you know, the viewing, so people feel like it's Star Wars. And I think maybe in a way people probably didn't realize that when they watched it, and why they walked out of the theater feeling, you know, is that they didn't pick up on the fact that the music, the scoring they got in the background did not fit, you know, the Star Wars style things going on. They should have brought that in there. It was missed, you know, a lot. So, you know, I hope that they, in the future movies that Disney Plus puts out, or Disney, you know, in the movies, they bring somebody in there who can sort of mimic a little bit some of what John Williams would write. I don't know, do something to make it sound more epic than using the scoring that they did in the Mandalorian, because it kind of held it back. I think it just didn't have the grandness of it, you know, that went along with the movie. So, but you know, it was funny seeing Sigourney Weaver in it. You know, Christ Almighty, she's like, I guess she wanted to have her name inserted into the franchise somehow, and they found a spot for her in it. So, she was okay in it. She didn't have like a really, really big role in it. I mean, just at key moments, and that was it. Just to say that she was involved in something Star Wars, I guess, basically. But, you know, it's another character, and I went and I bought, that's Colonel Ward, that's Sigourney Weaver. They got her face on there. Looks just like her, too. I can't, these new figures that they make these days, they can really sculpt the face on a figure to make it look just like the goddamn I don't know how the hell they do it. Let me see if I can get closer. Yeah. Can you see it? You know, looks just like her, the way she appeared in the movie. So I like the way they design these figures these days, okay? Because the original Star Wars figures that I got when I was a kid, they didn't, you know, it could be anybody's head on a body. You know, it's like you just knew by the costume that was wearing which character it was. They didn't go through a lot of trouble with making these things look like, you know, except for the aliens. I mean, of course, the aliens are easy to make and carve their heads on. You knew what they were. But when it's the human characters, like Solo and Skywalker, I mean, there's very little distinction there, you know, to say you can compare it to. But nowadays, Jesus Christ, it's like they took a snapshot of somebody's face and pasted it right on the fucking figure now. No, they got a machine now that carves heads to match the picture somehow. I don't know what they do. I wish maybe on YouTube they probably have something that shows how they make the faces of these action figures now. Because, you know, you think the heads are small, very small, but it would take a very fine sculpting to be able to make that face. Which explains why they're so much more expensive. I mean, I paid $27 for that figure, okay? But yeah, it's just it's very interesting today how they design these things now. So like I said, it's a good movie. It's entertaining. It's fun. And if you want to wait till it goes out on DVD or on Netflix or whatever, that's fine too. But it's worth watching. Okay, it's fun. And if you've been following The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, then obviously you have to watch this because it's connected right to everything. And plus, it helps too if you know all the backstory that you watch on Disney Plus as The Mandalorian. It plays well in the movie because you know these Mandalorian, you know Grogu. You don't have to worry about trying to keep up with, you know, character development because they've already been developed very well on Disney Plus. So now it's much more fun to watch the characters now in the movie, because you know them pretty well now. So anyway, yeah, so that's my review of it, and I hope everybody that wants to go see it sees it and enjoys it. So take care everybody, and you know, be happy out there. I'll talk to you later. Take care.